If you didn't watch the last video, I gave myself a budget of just £700 and a few days to buy a hot hatch. Anything hot and anything with a hatch. Everything that I found though was over budget, but I kept trying, kept my ear to Facebook, and then as I come out of the gym the very next day, we found what we were looking for, £700 and a hot hatch. So, introducing the ST170, a car that had been sat for around 8 months, bought from a breaker's yard. With viewing just a few pictures, I bought it on the spot. I didn't even haggle, and here we have it today. It was delivered to my house. Although we've had a look around it, today we're going to actually find out if there's anything seriously wrong with this car. Because it hasn't been ran, it hasn't been driven for the past 8 months, it's elapsed its MOT. Is there a reason why? Is there a bigger reason as to why this car has not been driven, has not been re-MOT'd? But before we get too into today's video, we're going to thank today's video sponsor, the reason why we're here, AutoFix. The AutoFix D1 Lite OBD2 bidirectional car diagnostics tool supports all system diagnosis. Display live data in text, graph and analog for easy data review. The D1 supports a 2-year free update. The diagnostics assuring speed is far faster than regular tool scanners. With the model range continuing to grow, including luxury car brands and EVs, meeting your daily maintenance needs, combining diagnostic tools, repair information, report shop management all in one. And within minutes I've been able to find out that the PCM control module is not happy. It's the reason why the engine management light is on. That might be why the car is running a little bit funny. What we're going to do is try and clear that code, see if it makes any difference to the vehicle whatsoever. AutoVin and AutoScan to diagnose all system issues and perform active tests to pinpoint trouble areas in just a few seconds. That's how good this little device is. Even me at home, I'm able to find out exactly what is wrong with the new car and order parts straight away before even getting my hands dirty. This is exactly what you need in your garage at home or in your garage at work. It is professional level, this thing. So thanks to AutoFix, I'm going to be able to order the parts I need right now, ready for the next episode for you guys. The link is in the description to get yourself one of these devices, but let's get back to the video. Today we have brought the car down to the garage, and as you can hear, you guys can hear that? Can you guys hear that? That is the sound of it not very happy. I'm not sure what's happened. I don't know why it's making this noise. Sorry, George. It's making a noise already.
Is this something to do with you?
It's a lot to do with me. I brought it down to the garage today because these lovely chaps absolutely love Ford ST170s, and they're going to help me fix it today. Pulling up in a car you bought off Facebook.
Yeah, no,
like, that does, there we go. It does open, I promise. It just sounds a bit like not happy at the moment. It sounds a bit hunty. It's hunting for something. It's alright for the money though, isn't it?
Yeah, but you want a prize now.
Harder, well, there is that. The last video, we actually got a couple of parts together, pestered George in his ass to actually book this thing in and get it somewhat roadworthy, ready for some maybe trips that we have with this thing.
Let me just rephrase this. You raided my parts bin for this.
You did say that you had things for this, and I was like, okay, let's go for it. What's the underneath like? I haven't even looked.
To be fair, it doesn't look that bad.
Oh, that's all right then. It's just making a silly noise. Maybe it's running out of fuel in front of our eyes.
It's making a silly noise.
It's making a silly noise. It's just hunting for revs. If I turn it off as well, it might not start again because it didn't start this morning. Not sure why. Maybe that's the reason. It was parked. Go on, ST170! Now, thankfully for me, he's owned ST170s, many of them. He's got a turbocharged one and a Focus RS, had to have Focus RS. George loves a Ford anyway, so I mean, it couldn't be in any better hands right now. Look at that ram air induction in there. Okay, so we have the first problem. The crankcase hose is, what, squashed?
Yeah, they go weak.
That's good. I didn't even know that was a problem, but we're going to assess that, fix straight away. It's fixed! Right, let's go on a road trip. No, it's not fixed, it's still hunting. So we're saying just behind here, there it is. So that's what's the problem, maybe? This is why you bring it to people that actually know what they're talking about rather than me. I'm not really sure
about these cars. I don't know them that well, but thankfully we are in the company of two people that really know what they're talking about. Well,
According to the internet, we don't.
If you look at the comment section, I don't know what to do.
we'll get one of them on order then. Is it nice and warm there, mate?
It's nice and toasty.
It's lovely in here, isn't it? It's just a lovely time.
It's sunny but cold out. I'd be like a little hedgehog.
So as we start chasing parts down for this thing, I wanted to start restoring the headlights. This was a advisory on the last MOT, so getting this done straight away is quite a simple and effective way of ticking stuff off the list. George started on the left hand side, taping up around the headlight. Of course, you don't want to be sanding through the bumper or the wing, through the crazed lacquer with 240, 400, 1000 grit, and then finishing off with 1200. Then using a chemical reaction to melt the top layer of the headlight using the vapours from the liquid. This made the biggest difference ever. I've used a few headlight restorers in the past, but nothing to this level where it took it from this to this, which is bonkers. It made such a big difference just going through the process of sanding everything down.
Is that focused?
It's focusing right in your nostrils.
Having a nose.
Then it was my go, going from again the 240 grit, 400 grit, 1000 grit, then finishing off with a 1200 grit. Really good process. This something again I've never done to this level, and using a professional sanding kit to get all of that crazed lacquer off the top, and then going over it again and again, just making sure that I'm getting everything as even as possible, because when you start doing the chemical reaction, it will show parts that you have missed. And thankfully, because I sat there for a very long time, it came out fantastic. Again, what a transformation from such a simple job.
And as you'll see here, Dan taking it upon himself to get in because he's sick to death of seeing what is a gear shifter that definitely shouldn't be in this car. Someone's put... Sorry, I'm eating at the same time as this. Rude, isn't it? Someone's put the gear gator upside down. I'd like to explain why. I'm assuming because it is a little bit discoloured. Rather have that than that. Although that's still not fantastic, that will do for a free upgrade. There you go, pop it on your head. Literally, I was just talking over there and Dan cannot stand it when he sees stuff like that, so he's just in here doing it. It just annoys you. So I'm just going to do it for you. Also, from the last video, this gear knob was in with the car, so we're going to put that one on. It doesn't actually have the reverse gear in the correct place, but apparently, according to sources well known, it's hard to find a good gear knob, so that one can just go in there instead. It's better than the Mugen one that's in there, which I still don't understand what's in there.
And just like that, flipped the gear gator upside down again, and as you can see, so much better than what was in there. Next up is the crankcase hose. Legends at the garage actually had one in stock ready to go, so just removing the air filter there and getting the original crankcase hose off, and as you'll see, pops straight off, and there is the flat spot on the hose there, obviously deteriorated over time. Next one is actually from just a 2 litre Focus, but it will fit. Slightly different bend in it, but it will fit onto the ST170. Long nose pliers there, just putting the hose on the bottom, connect the top and connect the air filter back up. Next up was the wing mirror, which weirdly had a cable tie around it. This had actually just popped off, so very easy fix, just popped it back on and hopefully it stays there.
We know this isn't actually MOT prep, which is basically what we're doing in this video. This is what they had at the garage, sat upstairs, just chilling. Same silver, and we just try this out. That has to be bolted on that. It's like meant to be. It's the same silver. This one hasn't got the optional spoiler, so that's happening.
First up, we needed to clean the spoiler down because it had been sat for a while, and then placing it on the car just to see how it sits on where the third brake light is. Punching some holes in the metal after doing a lot of calculations, making sure the spoiler is going to sit just right, drilling some holes, making sure that we're using some really good hardware on this because it is slightly larger than a factory spoiler and it is sitting off the back of the car, so doing a bigger hole with a bigger bolt was what we thought was the right thing to do. Then going in with the sealant just to seal it down as well as bolting, and just like that, as you can see, bolts go in and the guys have absolutely smashed this, not only having it in stock but fitting it within minutes and completely transforming how the back end of this car looks. Lastly though, today we wanted to strap the battery down properly just by using a bigger bolt. So all of the things we've done today will help with passing its MOT, but obviously making a few adjustments as we go along. After that, I left the car with the garage and went home, thinking that I'd be able to book the car in for an MOT. We left it, and then this happened.
So we're starting today off, right George, this morning, making a bit of a funny noise. I'm on my phone because I only bought my camera. I mean, well, it's actually sorted itself out a little bit. It's making one hell of a dodgy noise just then. Should we see if it's still doing it? We don't know if it's running out of fuel. I mean, it's got no fuel in it, but... Oh, I don't know. It's backfiring. Well, she seems to be okay now. I pulled my phone out. Okay, well, I don't know. It sounds a bit funny. Listen to it. Missing a little bit. We're gonna service it, but yeah. Interesting. Maybe that's why it was parked, because it was like
Eventually.
And unfortunately with that we end today's episode on a little bit of a negative note, because I thought the crank hose would be the problem, but it definitely isn't. It is still running very badly, like missing and spluttering and low down in the revs. Even now we put fresh fuel in this thing, still spluttering. It's still not very happy. We have diagnosed this as the PCM, so we are going to get a new module. Thankfully down at the garage had one in stock because he has loads of stuff for one of these. But yeah, a little bit of a downer actually. I was going to get this video out to you guys. I was going to make this episode the episode where we transform this car into an MOT'd vehicle, and yeah, I can't put the MOT with it sounding like that. So we're going to leave today's video there. Hopefully that solves it. If not, we're going to have to dig deeper into this thing and see what's really wrong. Because if it is not what we think it is, there could be something a lot more expensive going on in that engine bay. And I don't think we need that. It's supposed to be a budget car, and I mean... yeah, hopefully it's not that, but thank you so much for watching. Again, go and get your auto fix. Link is in the description. Those guys have saved the day on this car, because what we thought was the issue and we fixed it, then plugged it in and found out it wasn't that. That means this car is now going to be saved thanks to those guys. So hit the link in the description. We'll see you on the next one.